students. In the last class, we focused regarding the aspects of TCA cycle, how the NADH reducing equivalents are going to be synthesized in the energy yielding reactions. So far, in the last topic, what we discussed was energy yielding reactions. All other reactions are also explained along with energy yielding reactions. What were the energy yielding reactions? So, which is involved in the synthesis of very important energy molecule, that is NADH and GTP, which was synthesized in the enzymatic reactions of TCA. So, the energy yielding reactions was isocitrate dehydrogenase enzyme involving and alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, succinyl thiokinase, succinate dehydrogenase, and malate dehydrogenase. Those are the energy yielding reactions of TCA. So very importantly, they will ask sometimes in the exam, like what are all the explain the energy yielding reactions of TCA cycle. So you have to explain these 5 energy yielding reactions of TCA. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is amphibolic nature of Krebs cycle or TCA cycle and even anaplerotic reactions of TCA. So I have while discussing in the last class, I have explained you about this amphibolism little bit. Just what do you mean by amphibolic nature of TCA? So this the reactions which involves both catabolism and anabolism, that is referred as amphibolism, right? So in case of aerobic organisms, the cycle, that citric acid cycle, is acting as an amphibolic is acting as amphibolic pathway, or it is amphibolic in nature. So the one that serves in both catabolism and anabolism is referred as amphibolism. Since the citric acid does not citric acid does both synthesis, that is anabolism, and breakdown, that is catabolism activities, so that's why it is called as amphibolic pathway or amphibolic in nature. And it is also said to be an amphibolic. Why? Because it functions as both degradative pathway and the biosynthetic pathway, right? In one or the other way, like an anabolism and catabolism, it is also called as degradation and biosynthesis. That's why it is acting as a both. That's why we are going to call it as amphibolism, or TCA cycle is amphibolic in nature. We will see in the later slides why what are all those catabolic and anabolic reactions which are involved in the catabolism process and anabolism process of other central metabolic of other pathways. So that's why this TC is considered as a central metabolic pathway of all, right? So this central metabolic pathway or the amphibolic pathway, which involves set of reactions which is going to permit the interconversion of several metabolites, which is going to represent the end of the catabolism and the beginning of the anabolism. Understanding the end of the catabolism, that is what do you mean by the end of the catabolism? That is the end product which is going to be formed in the catabolism are going to act as a precursor molecule for the next synthesis of any molecules, right? That is a beginning of anabolism. So the Krebs cycle is a series of reactions which is involved in the degradation of acetyl CoA to yield carbon dioxide and as well as energy in the form of ATP indirectly, right? Which is used to produce NADH. That is nothing but producing NADH, H plus and FADH molecule. That is FADH2. Make it some correction here, FADH2. So this Krebs cycle, which is going to connect the catabolic pathways, which is going to begin both the digestion and degradation of foods in the stage 1 and 2, and with the oxidation of substrates in the stage 3, which is helpful in generating most of the energy for ATP synthesis. That's what NADH molecule is going to be involved. NADH is going to be synthesized in 5 enzymatic reactions of TCA. So that is involved in the synthesis of ATP molecule. So this cycle is the final common pathway which is involved in the oxidation of fuel molecules in stage 3 of the metabolism. Citric acid is going to act as a final common catabolic intermediate in the form of acetyl CoA. That's why the citric acid cycle is called as a central metabolic pathway. This is referred as a central metabolic pathway. Why? Because the final common catabolic intermediate which is going to be formed here in this pathway, that is called as a acetyl CoA, that is going to act as a precursor for the synthesis of many molecules. That is going to act as a precursor for the synthesis of many molecule. That's why it is called as a central metabolic pathway. So you can see in this slide, so this cycle is amphibolic, as I told you, catabolic and anabolic reactions. So what are these catabolic reactions? So energy from the oxidation of this acetyl CoA is stored in the reduced form, that is reduced form of the coenzymes. Anabolic means several intermediates are going to be acting as a precursor for the biosynthetic pathways. That's what just now I said. So many of these precursors, several intermediates which are going to be synthesized in the TCA, these are going to act as a precursor for the synthesis of many amino acids, for example, and even fatty acids. So like that. So we can see in the later slides how these are going to act as intermediates, or the intermediates of this TCA are going to act as a precursor molecule for the synthesis of many other molecules, right? So first of all, we will see what are this. Before going into that, we will see what are these anapleresis and catapleresis. So anapleresis means it is a series of enzymatic reactions in which metabolic intermediates which are going to enter the citric acid cycle from the cytosol. Understanding? So they are going to enter into the metabolic intermediates are going to enter into the citric acid cycle from the cytosol. That is nothing but filling up of the intermediates, right? So that is referred as anapleresis. Coming for the catapleresis. What do you mean by catapleresis? Is nothing but it is opposite of anapleresis. It is a process where intermediates leave the citric acid cycle and it is going to enter the cytosol. So that is exactly reverse of anapleresis. This anapleresis is nothing but filling up of the intermediates, that is the intermediates which entering the citric acid cycle from the cytosol. But catapleresis is opposite, that is nothing but where the intermediates which leave the citric acid cycle and it is going to enter into the cytosol. Understanding? So in case of muscle, so this anapleresis plays a very important role for increasing citric acid throughput during periods of exercise, that is during the strenuous exercise. In case of muscles, you can see this is going to play a very important role. This anapleresis reactions are going to play a very important role by increasing the citric acid cycle intermediates, right? So there is some evidence that anapleresis is required for the glucose induced rise in case of mitochondrial ATP production. That's what. So this anapleresis is mainly required for the glucose induced rise in mitochondrial ATP production. That's why it has to happen. Some amino acids, the building blocks of these proteins, which are going to enter and leave the citric acid cycle through the anapleresis and catapleresis. Both the ways they are going to enter the citric acid cycle and leave the citric acid cycle in this way, through the anapleretic reactions and filling up of the intermediates, and through the opposite that is carrying out the reactions opposite, that is entering the cytosol from the citric acid cycle, leaving the citric acid cycle. So how this is going to act like a subway analog, right? So these are going to act as a subway analog. That's what I said in the last slide, that is citric acid. Amino acids are going to enter and leave the citric acid cycle through these anapleresis and catapleresis. So these are acting as a subway analog. So how this is going to act as a subway system? So you can see here, acetyl CoA is like the people getting on at station A. For example, NADH is like people getting off at station B, right? So intermediates are like the subway cars. Anapleresis is like adding cars to the system, that particular subway system. Whereas catapleresis is like removing the cars to use for the other spare parts, right? So catapleresis, you can take the example like removing the cars from the system and using for the to use for the other spare parts of the system, right? So this is like acting as a subway analog. Very easily you can understand here by taking this kind of example, right? So you can make out in this particular cycle. So here this is a picture or the diagram of the citric acid indicating the positions at which the intermediates are drawn off for use in anabolic pathways. That is the red arrows, which are all the red arrows which is indicating here. You can see that those intermediates are taken as a drawn off from this particular citric acid cycle and used for the anabolic pathways, and the points where anaphylactic reactions, that is going to replenish depleted cycle intermediates, those are green arrows which are representing. You can make out these red arrows and the green arrows. So in this you can see that the pyruvate which is giving you acetyl CoA, that is a pyruvate from the cytosol giving you acetyl CoA catalyzed by pyruvate dehydrogenase, as we discussed in the yesterday's class. So this acetyl CoA is condensing with oxaloacetate to form citrate, as I said you. So this citrate molecule now from the citric acid cycle, it is used as a precursor for the synthesis of other molecules, that is anabolic pathway, right? Anabolism. That's what. That is, a citrate molecule is involved in the synthesis of fatty acids as well as cholesterol. And you can see here alpha ketoglutarate. So this here you can make out both the arrows, that is red arrows, right? Citrate is involved in the synthesis. So here alpha ketoglutarate, in the red arrow you can see it is involved in the synthesis of amino acids. Same way those amino acids are acting as a precursor molecule for the synthesis of this alpha ketoglutarate. That is nothing but the end of the catabolism which is giving a end product. So that is catabolite, right? So coming for this, you can see here succinyl CoA. So this is involved in the synthesis of porphyrins, that is acting as a precursor for the synthesis of porphyrin in case of heme biosynthesis. In the third semester you will come across this. And you can see these amino acids, isoleucine, methionine, valine, odd chain fatty acids, these are involved in the, these are acting as a precursor molecule for the synthesis for the production of, that is end product of catabolism. These are involved in the catabolic process. That is, isoleucine will be degraded to give rise to succinyl CoA as an end metabolite in the catabolism, as well as methionine amino acids also give you succinyl CoA, valine amino acids also give you succinyl CoA as an end metabolite in catabolism, right? Odd chain fatty acids also you can come across, you can see the formation of succinyl CoA. This is the catabolic process. So it is involved in both, you are seeing, observing, right? Both the catabolism and anabolism, this how. And formation of succinate from the succinyl CoA, then succinate to fumarate. Fumarate is the product which is formed from the catabolism, right? Catabolism of aspartate amino acid, phenylalanine and tyrosine. So these are the three amino acids which are involved in the catabolism of this particular end product. It gives you end product, that is fumarate. It is not involved in any synthesis of any new molecule. So this fumarate is not going to act as a precursor for the synthesis of any molecule. Understanding? Okay, coming for the malate. So you can see in this malate. So this malate is acting as a precursor for the synthesis of the glucose. That is a anabolic process, right? Anabolic process. You can see malate is acting as a precursor for the synthesis of glucose, whereas oxaloacetate is also acting as a precursor for the synthesis of your malate. So you can see here oxaloacetate can also act as a precursor for the synthesis of some amino acids, whereas these amino acids can be degraded and give you the end product of catabolite, that is intermediates of TCA, that is oxaloacetate, can be formed from amino acids like aspartate, as I said you, right? So this aspartate also is involved in the aspargine is involved in the formation of oxaloacetate. So this particular oxaloacetate, right? So how this plays a very important role. This oxaloacetate can also enter into the gluconeogenesis process from the TC. So you can see again synthesis of glucose is going to happen there. Oxaloacetate is acting as a precursor for the synthesis of glucose. So that is again synthesis mechanism which you can come across in the cytosol itself, that is gluconeogenesis process, right? Is it clear now? So this is how the anabolism and catabolism both is going to happen in this through this intermediates. This is also involved in the synthesis of new molecules and also catabolic process. So that's why it is called as amphibolic, right? So you can see here citric acid cycle intermediates which are always in flux. So these are brought for degradation in the reactions which is going to replace cyclic intermediates, and these anaplerotic reactions, as I just told you, which are going to act as a set of metabolic reaction which is going to replenish the central metabolic pathway. So these reactions which are catalyzed by the pyruvate carboxylase, what we have come across, the reactions which are mainly catalyzed by pyruvate carboxylase, that is what we have seen in case of gluconeogenesis process, which is going to replenish oxaloacetate, right? So that replenishes the oxaloacetate to the TCA cycle, which is a good example for this anaplerotic or filling up of the reaction. Just before 3-4 slides back, I told you what do you mean by this anaplerosis. That is nothing but filling up of the reaction. So this is one of the reaction which you can see here, that is replenishing the oxaloacetate, right? Pyruvate plus carbon dioxide, it involves the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase, which is an ATP dependent enzymatic reaction. Biotin is going to provide the carbon dioxide in the form of bicarbonate ion to carry out this reaction to form oxaloacetate, right? Oxaloacetate, ADP plus, PI plus. Please students write the structure of this pyruvate molecule. Why I have not mentioned the structure? Because you have already learned these structures in the last glycolytic pathway and gluconeogenesis, right? So you have to write the structure while writing the reactions. Very important. Pyruvate structure CH3 C double bond O CO minus, whereas oxaloacetate structure you all know. So all these structures you should write, and you have to mention this particular reactions in case of anaplerotic reactions. So these reactions which is going to assure one more thing, there is sufficient oxaloacetate for the condensation with the acetyl-CoA molecule. In fact, acetyl-CoA stimulates pyruvate carboxylase. So the formation of this oxaloacetate is indicating that it is sufficient enough to condense with the acetyl-CoA to carry out the citric acid cycle, right? So this is going to stimulate the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase to carry out the reaction, right? Pyruvate to oxaloacetate formation. So this reaction is very important, especially in case of the liver and kidney. So you can see here the reaction which I have shown you again with the mechanism, biotin, enzyme biotin with the carbon dioxide molecule from the bicarbonate ion, which is an ATP dependent enzyme, and formation of acetyl-CoA. So this anaplerotic or filling up of the reaction which is connecting the pyruvate to the Krebs cycle. So these are all the anaplerotic reactions which you can come across and which you can mention in the exam. This is very important reactions. They have asked for 2 marks, anaplerotic reactions of TCA. So pyruvate, as I said you just before this slide, pyruvate carboxylase, formation of oxaloacetate, which is going to happen in liver and kidney, and phosphoenol pyruvate containing it is going to react with the carbon dioxide molecule, again carboxylation process, which is involved with the that is the GDP dependent reaction. So GDP is required for this reaction to carry out. Phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase enzyme, which involves in the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to oxaloacetate, right? Plus GTP. GTP is going to be synthesized. So coming for the next phosphoenol pyruvate to next reaction, oxaloacetate again. So bicarbonate ion, this reaction requires the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase again. So next enzymatic reaction is pyruvate plus NADPH, which gives you malic enzyme. NADP plus is going to be synthesized here. So this is also one more reactions for the anaplerotic reaction which is going to happen in widely. It is mainly distributed in eukaryotes and as well as prokaryotes. This formation of oxaloacetate from phosphoenol pyruvate is going to happen in higher plants, yeast and bacteria, where the formation of oxaloacetate from the phosphoenol pyruvate catalyzed by phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase occurring in heart and skeletal muscles. So these are all the anaplerotic reactions which you can come across, and other important anaplerotic reactions also involves, that is includes mainly the sources which are these are the reactions which are involved with the sources of succinyl CoA. So the succinyl CoA is going to be formed from fatty acids, as I shown you in the last slides, with an odd number of carbon atoms via propionyl CoA. And succinyl CoA can also be formed from propionyl CoA, which is generated in the breakdown of some branched chain amino acids such as isoleucine, valine, right, methionine, as well as other amino acids. So and even oxidation of short chain fatty acids can also lead to the production of succinyl CoA from propionyl CoA. We will discuss all these amino acids degradation and biosynthesis you are going to observe in case of third semester in the amino acid catabolism and anabolism. So you can see even with the transamination and deaminations of amino acids which leading to the production of alpha ketoglutarate and oxaloacetate. These are the very important molecule which you are seeing in TCA cycle also. So these are going to act as the intermediates of TCA, right? So you can see in this slide breakdown of the fat for the energy. Just now what I said, from produces acetyl CoA molecule which feeds directly into the citric acid cycle. Both fatty acids from the lipids and as well as amino acids from the proteins which are going to be forming acetyl CoA, which enters the citric acid cycle for the continuation of their degradation or catabolism. So in order to undergo degradation or catabolism, these are the what are the intermediates which are formed from breakdown of these fats as well as proteins from the amino acids, so forming the resulting in the formation of acetyl CoA which can enter this citric acid cycle to continue the degradation or the catabolism process of citric acid cycle, citric acid. So you can make out here glucose from glucose pyruvate is going to be formed from pyruvate acetyl CoA, and amino acids also resulting in the formation of acetyl CoA and even fatty acids, and even you can see here all citrate, isocitrate, alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl CoA, succinate, all these things which are going to be formed from this acetyl CoA. So after feeding this acetyl CoA into the citric acid cycle, it is involved in the degradation of this citric acid cycle, acetyl CoA. Coming for the other as well as proteins may serve as an excellent source for this nutrient energy, and even catabolism of these amino acids which provides the succinate, that is also intermediate of TCA, oxaloacetate which is also intermediate of TCA, fumarate also intermediate of TCA, alpha ketoglutarate also intermediate of TCA. So catabolism of amino acid gives you the intermediates of TCA such as succinate, oxaloacetate, fumarate, alpha ketoglutarate, pyruvate from glycolysis you can see, and acetyl CoA which is going to stimulate pyruvate carboxylase enzyme to carry out the process, anaplerotic reactions. So protein can also be broken down to feed into the citric acid cycle and it can generate energy. You can see in this pathway where the amino acids can be catabolized for the energy production. So you can see in this what are all the amino acids which can be undergoing catabolism process under extreme starvation condition in case of animals, or even during senescence in case of plants. These polypeptides are polypeptides of proteins which are going to be cleaved to amino acids. So these amino group is cleaved off of the amino acid forming an organic acid which can enter the citric acid cycle. You can make out in this slide which are all the amino acids which will give you this end product of this catabolism process, breakdown of these amino acids. So alanine, cysteine, glycine, serine, threonine, tryptophan, all these amino acids which give you pyruvic acid or pyruvate molecule as an end product. Leucine, tryptophan, isoleucine. See, these are all the amino acid which is giving you the intermediate of TCA, that is acetyl CoA, undergoing degradation, and arginine, glutamate, glutamine, histidine, proline. All these amino acids give you alpha ketoglutarate as it is an intermediate of TCA again. Isoleucine, methionine as well as valine. Again these amino acids will be degraded into succinic acid or succinate. So again succinyl CoA, this is again intermediate of TCA. Again fumaric acid can be formed from phenylalanine and tyrosine, again intermediate of TCA. So aspargine and aspartate also will give you the end product of TCA, intermediate of TCA, that is the end product of catabolism of amino acid, that is oxaloacetate. So this oxaloacetate which is so formed can enter into the now gluconeogenesis process. So these how the amino acids which can be catabolized, giving you energy in the form of energy also, and these are the intermediates of TCA which can be formed from these catabolism of amino acids. Is it clear? So you can make out in this slide also which are all the amino acids which give you the glutamate and alpha ketoglutarate, acetyl CoA, pyruvate, alanine, how it is formed with in case of muscle and kidney, right? And even other amino acids, propionyl CoA which is formed from this valine, threonine, isoleucine, methionine which gives you methylmalonyl or methylmalonyl CoA, further S-methylmalonyl CoA, then succinyl CoA. So these are all the things which you can study in the next third semester. So how this degradation of amino acid which produces pyruvate are the intermediates of TCA which can enter into which are acting as an intermediates of TCA which are acting as a precursor for the synthesis of amino acids, and even these can be formed from the catabolism of amino acids. So this how shows both catabolic nature of this TCA and anabolic nature of this TCA. So the strategy followed by the cell in the catabolism of amino acids is to convert all these 20 common amino acids in one of the following 7 compounds useful for the gluconeogenesis process to carry out, as well as citric acid cycle to carry out. So these are the intermediates or the particular compounds. You can see acetyl CoA, acetyl CoA, pyruvate, oxaloacetate, fumarate, succinyl CoA, alpha ketoglutarate. So these are the intermediates or the compounds which are formed from the breakdown of these amino acids, which will enter into the gluconeogenesis process and even citric acid cycle. So most of these metabolic pathways of the body are especially channeled through these 7 molecules. So the great importance of these last 2 slides what I have discussed, where you can highlight some of the molecules which are the major players in the metabolism which is going to happen in our body. So these 2 slides which will indicate the position of these molecules of the citric acid cycle, and it is going to emphasize that citric acid cycle is indeed a central metabolic pathway, and even an amphibolic pathway or amphibolic TCA cycle is amphibolic in nature, which has both catabolic process and as well as anabolic process. Is it clear for you all? Okay, in the next class we will discuss regarding the mechanism of these enzymes and even regulation of TCA, citric acid cycle. Thank you.